This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
With Gasper's absence in Week 1, we saw Miroslav Jurček take victory in the land of the rising sun. Daniel Sadru continued on his streak of strong performance from last season after coming back from last place to a respectable P4. So after a short and cramped Tsukuba, we're here today at the wide and fast yet short version of Road Atlanta, where momentum will be key to success. Let's see who can be victorious today as we get ready to watch round 2 of the Weekend Warriors. And you're going to be seeing it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Bill Soup Sancho and myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director, the Doctor, Amjad Yamin, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Good day to you, Bill. This weekend we're using a version of Road Atlanta that's not very often used.
Yeah, I got to applaud the series organizers, not so much for their choice of venue, but their choice of configuration. Now, granted, the full course here at Road Atlanta is, in my book, a winner. But with these underpowered SRFs as the weapon of choice, if the series organizers don't start using these shorter configurations, when will they ever get to be used? Located on 750 acres north of Brazelton, Georgia, this place opened in 1970. Perhaps this place is best known as the home of the Petit Le Mans endurance race that was first held here in 1998. Now, carved out of the red Georgian clay, we've got a driver track today. Not a draft track, no, a driver track, because as mentioned, we are on the short course. 1.76 miles, 10 turns, and missing is the dreaded Turn 5, a turn with a reputation of cutting many drivers' racing days short. That's where the track cuts through the infield, amputating Turns 6 and 7 and that long back straight. But the chicane is still in play, and with that, that's still going to be a prime passing opportunity. And how about this? Maybe today one of the factors might be, can I say, lap traffic? But the best way to get an idea what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC SRF and take a lap around the short version here at Road Atlanta.
All right, we're in the GSRC SRF, so let's do a lap around Road Atlanta. Coming down the front stretch, turn 1 will sometimes offer an opportunity to pass if you get a good draft on the car ahead. But this is such a fast sweeper, I wouldn't really expect to outbrake anyone into here. You've got to get on the power as soon as you feel safe, but be careful not to understeer off into the grass. Swing into the middle of the track to help line yourself up through 2 into 3. This blind right-hander really requires you to be brave with the curbs, but the SRF doesn't like them, so expect some hairy moments. From out of there, 4 down into the S's is all flat out, but it's pretty much single file. Once you hit 5, you need a little lift to get the front to grip, and then your right foot should be on the floor all the way until the chicane. This crossover section on the short version effectively acts as one long corner exit, but it will also provide a big slipstream with the high speeds. And frankly, that combined with the heavy braking into the chicane makes this your best chance for an overtake on the lap. But the interesting thing is that the back and forth of the chicane also means that you can defend or attack from either side, depending on how much you trust your opponent. The important thing is getting on the gas early to help carry your momentum over this big hill into the final corner. Swing it out wide, don't lift, and be careful not to take too much curb, but hopefully you've now finished a lap around Road Atlanta.
Joe Peak telling you and showing you exactly how to get around the short version of Road Atlanta. Now, as always, the Weekend Warriors is brought to you by Sim Stickers. Whether it's button boxes, steering wheels, or keyboards, they have you covered. You can find out more about them over at simstickers.co.uk. Now, the first point on our list, as always, is the points standings. And one thing that we can already say here is that our points defender, or our winner of the first race, Miroslav Jurček, not here today. So Gary McCreevy in the prime spot to take over that points lead. Only 13 points behind right now. Steve Elson, 17 points behind Daniel Sadro, as mentioned, he with a great drive back in P4. James Tibor, 5th place. That's, I think, the first time we see him in the top 5 for quite a long time here today. Now, Soup, how's it looking in the Spec 2 Championship?
It's fun with flags in the Spec 2 Championship, and we got 5 different banners flying: the UK, Spain, Germany, the United States, and Italy. Now, a veteran of the S2 driver standings is Adam Bradshaw, and he sits atop with 70 points. Another driver that hasn't made really the top 5 overly, but he's raced in this class for a long time, is Raymond Regalado out of Spain. Then we got 3 newcomers: the German driver Nico Schuck, Gabe Nally out of the States, and Giulio Thorcolon down there in 5th position out of Italy. So it should be fun. It's early days. This will sort around, and it'll just swap both in the S1 and S2 standings, especially with 3 drop races. Now you see that they're not taken into account right now. These are just the raw points.
And one thing we have to be a little bit careful about is that we have 2 Shuks, Tony, I think, and Nico Shuk. Now, what is the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Wars all about? Well, you're gonna find out in the race details. Today, as always, a 40-minute race. But these guys, they have open setups, but only a 35% fuel cell to this place, so they will have to make a stop here in this race. The points, as always, rationed out: 100. The winner gets, last driver to finish gets 25. Everything else is rationed out, so no matter how many drivers take place, you're always getting a fair share of points. Very important, 3 incident points. For every 10 incident points, they get 3 penalty points deducted from their finishing position. And also very clever, these guys, they get a 1 fast repair if they happen to have some misfortune happen to them.
Yeah, the fast repair step, I'll just interrupt you here for a second. For the most part, that never really plays a factor in these short sprint races, but if you can time your damage right before a pit stop, you can go ahead and get a free car, and you can still win the race and still have a fast repair taken. Use it.
Yeah, and especially the Spec Racer Ford, we sometimes see that these cars are a little bit too handle for these guys, so I think they can have sometimes a little bit more problem with their cars. And as aforementioned, you're getting your Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors fix live here on the iRacing Esports Network. Whether it's private leagues, official races, or the top of the top World Championship Series, IESN is your place to be. Make sure to head over to their page and hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. In the background, you can already see that the qualifying has been going on for about nearly 14 minutes now. And David Gaspers, he is back after his absence in week 1, and he's back on top by nearly 2/10 over Steve Elson and Gary McCreevy.
Yeah, one of the fun aspects of this series is that it's open qualifying, so you can go out there and get yourself a draft.
Steve Elson coming over the line right now with 7.4, so about a second slower than his personal fastest lap, so no improvement there. To conclude that off, Daniel Sadler 4th place, and 5th place already Bob Kern, the first Spec 2 driver.
What's our weather look like today? Take a peek at this, see how that's going to affect these guys. Comfortable.
Oof, that
Track
is
temperature.
quite...
Look at that, though.
118 Fahrenheit. That's quite the show for the track temperature. But I think these guys are already pretty much used to hot weather.
Stefan, is that part of the new build? I've been noticing that, man, these track temperatures have really been up since they've turned this thing around. I don't know if it's the new build or not, but my goodness, we're seeing some big numbers.
not really, because if I'm honest, I can't remember the last time we have seen a cold track in the Weekend Warrior series.
That's true.
Either way, Chris Murakami, he's making his way around the shortcut of the short version of Road Atlanta here. He's right now sitting in P12. He's getting good round by the Haycoxes. So maybe this one is a faster one for Chris. Let's see what he can do in his 001 machine. Now, if you're wondering how can I differentiate between a Spec 1 and Spec 2 drivers, well, that's quite easy, because Spec 1 drivers, they have a numbers ranging from 0 to 200, and as Chris Murakami just put up his new fastest lap of 10th place, 6.9, the Spec 2 drivers, like we have Bob Kern still sitting in 5th place, they are having a 200 and above number.
You know, in the pre-race show when I was talking about the track, I may have oversold the fact that we won't have a draft track here today. To be honest with you, the drivers are going to be full throttle for a lot of the track. You get through the S's there, and the cutoff section all the way up to the chicane is you're going to be on the throttle. So I still think we're going to be looking at pack racing. But what I will think will be a factor is lap traffic, and that's something I always look forward to.
Most definitely. I think lap traffic is always a factor in this series. No matter if it's good or bad for you, it always will play something in your hand or against your hand, as Julia Forsolin now comes through the last turn, over the line. Turn 10 that was. Doesn't improve, actually 0.3 slower than his fastest lap right now. And we're seeing once again a trend, Bill, that we have seen the last few, I would say even the last season. This pack is getting closer and closer. The top 16 drivers within 1 second.
Yeah, in fact, I was even going all the way down to the end to see what the difference is between Gaspers and the guys that were at the back. It's only about a 2.5 second difference between our fastest qualifier and our slowest qualifier. So I was trying to do the math to see if actually lap traffic would be a factor. I think it'll be close. What's interesting is Gaspers is here today. We see a lot of familiar names, Elson and McAreevy, Sadro up there. The one driver I would like to direct, if we can go ahead and look at the 206 car sitting 5th right now. This is Bob Kern. He is a veteran S2 driver, and he looks really good today, sitting in 5th. Not on the top 5 when I was going through the S2 points, so hopefully he can pick up some points here today.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. If I remember correctly, last race didn't go very much to his plan, so he most definitely will look to have a better result this time around.
Yeah, familiar names in that S2 championship, Kern and Haycox. They're sitting in 5th and 7th right now in the provisional qualifying. Those are names you would expect to see at the top of the S2 standings.
Now, one driver I'm missing here today is Max Grau, a real-life Spec Racer Ford driver. But it seems like we have gotten a new one in Whitney Strickland. Number 18 machine right now dead last in 29th. Beautiful white car there.
I like that.
Some would say kind of like the scarecrow of iRacing.
There's the 67 of Jerry McAreevy, a veteran.
Right now sitting in 3rd place, about 3/10, nearly 4/10 behind David Gaspers. Still that 2/10 gap between Gaspers and Elson atop the board as we take over to the last 20 seconds of qualifying. So McAreevy coming up to his last run in this qualifying. Only about 8 seconds left as he crosses the line. So yeah, just barely squeezing in at that last qualifying lap as 3 cars go over the line. One of them, Tony Schuch, all the way down in 22nd place. Really not where we are expecting him from the performance he put in last race. Ryan Walker over the line, already a familiar face in this series after having to miss the last 3 races. In this series, he's back once again with us. Richard Franco coming over the line. Let's see what he can do here. Right now sitting in 18th place. Doesn't improve with that one. Next up over the line, a lot of people driving into pit lane. Pepe Vasquez, not one of them. Vasquez sadly not improving with his lap as that one didn't count. Gary McReevy for 3rd place, not coming over the line. That did count, but once again slow for him, so not improving there. Tony Schuh coming over the line, also not improving there. A lot of people just not able to improve on the lap they set in the first 2 outings.
A nice even number of 30 drivers here, and everyone was able to put in a qualifying time. So that's refreshing. I won't have to worry about limiting who I can say is the hard charger. Everyone able to put in the time, and they're all relatively within close range of our fastest qualifier.
As the time ticks down, only 5 seconds left. Emil Orso still the last car on the track, but already finished with his qualifying attempt. We can safely go over to the grid, on which David Gaspers has once again snagged away that pole position ahead of Steve Elson. Gary McCreevy 3rd place. Daniel Sadro once again 4th place. Let's see if he can cope with that one again, or if he might get into some trouble at turn 1. Bob Kern 1st place in the Spec 2, 5th place on the grid. Stevie Ray, one of the first cars to always pit in 6th. Hugh Haycox leading the Haycox line row, 4th row. That one is Haycox row. Hugh Haycox ahead of Ian. Adam Bradshaw 9th place, not really where he wants to be, so look at him if you want to have a hard charger here today. Last place in the top 10 goes to David Garrido Sanchez.
Chris Murakami and Pepe Martinez go 11 to 12th, and the biggest other spot is Ryan Walker. He's going to be inside of Jeff Jacobson. Nico Schuka in the 15th spots. All ribbons and curls is Michael Shaw in the Sweet 16th position. Emil Orza in 17th. He's going to be flanked by Gabe Nail. Then you got Richard Franco in 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Raymond Regalado.
Edward Doherty 21st on the grid. That's blackjack for him. Larry McLeod 22nd. Tony Schuch, the second of the Schuchs, in 23rd. Wayne Palmer 24th. Tom Gradwell rounding out the top 25 drivers on the grid. Gary Woodward 26th. Mark Geehan 27th. Ian Malone 28th. Julio Forcelin 29th, and not really where you normally expect him in qualifying, especially after practice, where he put in a 7.333, a full second slower in qualifying there. So yeah, most definitely he will look to gain some places in the race. The last car on the grid, the white number 80 of Whitney Strickland.
I hustled through my 10 because I thought we were in a hurry, but now I find out we get to go around for a pace lap here. Give me time to talk about one of the drivers here. Car number 88, Raymond Regalado. Now, he's classified as, I thought I read his name as an S2 driver, but it looks like he's sporting the number 88. So either he's numbered wrong or maybe he's moved up in class. But best of luck for him starting down there in 20th.
Pretty sure he is a Spec 1 driver. Either way, Ramon Regalado 22nd, not really where you normally expect him. So yeah, most definitely will be looking forward to seeing some action from him here today at in beautiful Bristleton.
Yeah, our overlay showed him in second positions, 3 points off the leader. So we'll follow up on that for next season. As always, a little goofy early on in the early rounds here until we get things settled down and see what's going on. All right, Steph, they're out of the chicane, coming up to that final corner.
Most
this thing on the way.
Under the Suzuki Bridge they go. David Gaspers now has control over the field. Let's see when he decides to go. Green flag is out there. He now accelerates. David Gaspers, really good start. A little bit catching Steve Elson on the wrong foot. Already clear of him, but now that gives a little bit of a draft to Elson. But he's boxed in behind Gaspers, so McGreevy takes home second place out of turn 1. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, they were 3 and 4 wide coming in. You know there was going to be issues back there. We'll come back and look at that a little bit later.
Gary McGreevy now defending 4th place. A little bit of a wheel bang from Ian Haycox. Where did he come from? From 8th into P3 after turn 1. What a start from Haycox there.
Big pile up on, well, the mistake on the very first corner could have been a lot worse. We'll come and look at it. You talked about Haycox. We'll look at you, Haycox, there on the first lap. There were about 4 cars involved.
Hugh Haycox, the younger of the 2 starting in France, thus sporting the French flag here in iRacing, as Stevie Ray now goes past Gary McGreevy for 4th place. Daniel Sadler looking to do the same here, but Gary McGreevy with a little bit more momentum on the outside can defend his place for now. Obviously, that's the battle for 5th place. Up in front, though, David Gaspers already a little bit of a gap down to Stephen Elson, but a 10th right now.
Very, very busy on the very opening lap. We'll start to settle down a little bit. No surprise to see Gaspers out in front. Elson is going to have a hard job staying with him.
Even Tony Schuck came from quite some place up 20-30s right now in 19th place. Oh, that's a spin. Who was that? That's Doherty in the grass, the green car.
Looped it around, did a 360, got it going back again.
The 2 Schucks now fighting versus Larry McLeod for 17th place. And Nico Schuck had a little bit of a hiccup somewhere at the start of this lap because he started lap 2 in 14th place, now in 17th. As up in front, Stevie Ray trying to overtake Ian Haycox for 3rd place into turn 1, succeeds in doing so, but Ian Haycox with the momentum trying to do the switcheroo. McGreevy trying to stick a nose in. No, he breaks early, but Stevie Ray able to retain that 3rd place into turn 2.
Ray getting around there, got to get a little work going. He's got 2.3 seconds up to Elson now. I apologize to Steven Elson. I thought he was going to have a hard time staying with Gaspers. That's not the case. Elson was able to gather him up. Right now we got a 2-car battle.
Oh, and we were mentioning the battle with the Schucks. Well, Tony Schuck, he spun out of turn 1 over the curb. Heavy damage to his car. He loses a lot of position as Ian Haycox maybe loses another position in this lap, and does so indeed. Gary McGreevy goes past for P4.
Let's look at car number 88 real quick, racing in 11th position. We talked about him on the grid. We're not sure if he is an S2 or an S1 driver. We're talking about Raymond Regalado. He is up several positions. He's our hard charger, and he is coming. He just got around Jacobson and Shaw. The next one on his hit list is Chris Murakami. A nice run from him, up from 20th to 11th and coming.
Yeah, already +9 as someone off track there. That is Michael Shaw, keeps it together, goes in behind Schuck as McGreevy had a problem in turn 3.
He was in 4th position. Going through the technical sections. He just missed the apex a little bit. The car got loose and then it came around on him.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird one. Maybe just too fast into that turn 3. Heavy damage to his car. He is limping back as we take you to the start replay to really see what happened there in the back of the field.
Now this all started when the driver gets loose. I forget who it was. He comes across and he clips another driver and spins him out. I had it marked down and I forgot who I was going to talk about here.
That is Hugh Haycox there.
That was it. Haycox comes around, yeah. Haycox is down low. He comes across and he just gets a piece. Spins the car around, and there's about 3 or 4 other cars that came out of that one.
Oh, speaking about Haycox, Ian Haycox now with a mistake. That's also turn 1. Did he actually get help there in that turn 1 wreck? Let's have a look. Bradshaw right behind him, Sadro in front of him, and nope, just gets loose on his own. Hard into the wall, and there's another car spinning after him.
Come back. Let's take a peek up front real quick, because Elson, again, must be listening to the broadcast trying to prove the commentator wrong, as he's now just a car length back. He's made a couple stabs at Gaspers, and I really think that Steven might want this position. Here he goes now, looking to the outside as they work their way through the S's. Best shot is going to be right coming up now. He can get on the gas and see what kind of move he can make going into that chicane.
Now the car spinning after Ian Haycox was Mark Gehan. He also hit the inside wall. A little bit of damage to his car, not too bad. He's still out there, still racing. So yeah, not the race for Gehan also at this time, but really the races for the Haycocks very much compromised after just 5 laps of racing, as Steve Nelson looks at the rear of David Gaspers. Now we know David Gaspers very strong in a leading position, especially if he is getting chased at the draft track. He himself also very good at saving fuel even without draft. So David Gaspers, I wouldn't say that he is in the worst position right now.
You know, you said I've watched enough of Gaspers race. I call him the ghost because he usually drives around, drives away from people and leaves them trying to find him. Really, really fast and really, really good at saving fuel, like you talked about, even while leading. I've been fooled by him so many times. Elson back there right now, I think he knows his only chance is to save fuel and maybe pass him in pit lane.
As they take the shortcut, we're gonna take you back to the battle for P4 that is between Sadro, who's starting to link out a little bit of that, Adam Bradshaw, Bob Kern, Ryan Walker, and Chris Murakami. You could also count Ramon Regalado into this one. And obviously Bob Kern, our leading Spec 2 driver right now, about 6 seconds, nearly 7 seconds ahead of Gabe Neal in 11th place.
Yeah, the last car in line as we ride on board looking back now. The last car on line is Regalado. I've been watching him. I talked about him earlier. He's made that progress. He's in the tail, and he's going to be able to pass these guys as well. Don't be surprised if you don't see him battling up there with Bradshaw pretty soon. This is some good racing going on here that Steph just talked about. Kern involved in this, Walker, Murakami.
Obviously, if something happens up at the front, we're going to quickly take you to this. Chris Murakami, a little bit off a wobble over the turn 3 curb. Now, we know that this car isn't too keen on the bumps and curbs. How would you rate the avoidance that you have to take from the curbs here at Rotterdam?
Yeah, you have a pair of underpowered cars that are popular, as we see the pass being made here by Kern as he's going to go around and get around Bradshaw. He gets that pass made. Burn Kern up to 5th. The 2 popular underpowered cars, well, maybe 3 if you include the Skippy. But let's talk about the MX-5 and this SRFs. The MX-5, you can bounce them over the curves. They're fun. Boy, these SRFs way more sensitive. Of course, they suffer from that lift throttle oversteer that took me a long time to figure out that when the rear end starts to come around on you, the best way to get it to stick is to actually get on the throttle to put some weight back there. Great racing going on up here, but yeah, these cars are not as friendly over the curbs, and they can get loose really fast. Mistakes happen real quick. Kern now lost that spot back to Bradshaw and Walker on him now.
Yeah, and what this meant is that Ramon Regalado now very much at the back of Chris Murakami, but also Daniel Sato really linked out of this battle for P5 now, and he's starting to close in on the back of Stevie Ray. Ryan Walker, the blue car there in the middle of this pack, he has shown very strong performances throughout last season, but also very lackluster performances, in meaning that he was involved in some scrambles and had to retire very early. As Bob Kern, a little bit of a slide there through turn 8. Maybe Ryan can bounce on that. No, he can't. Gets cut off there.
If we talk a little about Kern and that S2 championship, the way they score points in this series is you get the points that you finish in the race. It's not like the S2. Look, this is going to be really exciting here. Kern now under attack from Walker. He waits a bit. And Walker now back at him as they work their way through that first corner. Now they're going to be side by side. This could be interesting here. What Kern has an advantage of is he has about 6 cars cushion between him and the next X2 driver. Oh, getting really loose as Regalado. He's going to lose touch with the train.
Yeah, both Murakami and Regalado were loose there off turn 3, so maybe Regalado got a little bit of a balance because of Murakami ahead of him. That obviously gets some breathing room of Walker, so let's see if he can do something into the chicane. Getting ever so closer to the back of Bob Kern. Does he duck out to the left? No, he decides to lift and save some fuel.
You can see on the tower to your left there, the Gaspers has opened up a 1.5 second lead there on Elson. Elson was right behind him, but that went away.
Another battle we can showcase to you is the one for P12. Vasquez, Martinez, Gabe Nail, and Michael Shaw. And that one, actually, Michael Shaw pitting in much style. Actually had a little bit of a drift there coming into the pit lane.
Oh, and Ryan Walker, Steph.
Yeah, turn 1. Another victim there. Wait, don't drive out, please. Thank you very much. Oh! Ian Haycox, the second.
So Walker with trouble, and one of the Haycoxes having issues.
Yeah, I wonder if Haycox got a little bit put off by a Walker standing there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Walker's car is on the grass. Might have scared Haycox that he was going to bring it back on track.
Oh, Elson!
He waited. Oh,
Elson just had problems into pit lane. That is one thing we haven't talked much about in the beginning of this race, and that is actually how tricky this pit lane is in the Spec Race Ford with its off-throttle oversteer.
Yeah, this entry in at Road Atlanta is a tough one in any car, but really tough in the SRF. The good news for Elson is he didn't hit anything, lost a ton of time. I'll be surprised if he doesn't even fall behind Sadro, who was racing behind these guys when this is all said and done. And now, you look at the points, you look at that tower there, look at the 2 names on top, Gaspers and Sadro, the 2 really dominant drivers over the last couple of seasons here in this series.
Yeah, and because of Elson's mistake, you're seeing it here on your screen. He lost the position to Stevie Ray, so Stevie Ray now in the virtual second place right behind David Gaspers. Obviously, right now they're 16th and 17th in the field, leading obviously the train of the already pitted cars.
Director, let's go to 11th real quick. You pick yourself up 13 positions. You got to get a little screen time. We're talking about Gary Woldbold in the 215 machine. He just got past. Now he is down to 12th. Going around him was Tom Gradwell. Nice run, though, from Woldbold from 26th up into 12th.
Yeah, and Tom Gradwell from 25th up to 11th. Also no small feat there from him. Ahead of them, a Gabe Nail in 9th place and Larry McLeod in 10th, also from 22nd up to 10th.
Palmer in turn 1 gets wide again. He had just made the pass inside of Ian Malone.
Yeah, very
up into 13th. Yeah.
Braking maneuver by Wayne there, totally overshooting turn 1, and then obviously on the grass, on the bump, spins it out, and has to wait quite a bit for the cars to drive.
So we were just talking about Gradwell and Woldbold, who had made those positions up. They get to vulture one more. They move up another spot with Palmer's
and Steve
problems.
Elson trying to overtake Stevie Ray into the chicane just now. Able to do it through it. Or is he? Stevie Ray still up aside. Now he has to concede the position. So Stevie Ray and now in 16th place and Elson in 15th.
Both those drivers have made their pit stop. They were racing up front. Elson, of course, was in second. Ray, I think, was about third or fourth.
One interesting fact is that David Gaspers has already caught quite some traffic right now, closing in on the battle for 25th, actually 24th now, overall of Hugh Haycox, Gary McGreevy, and Whitney Strickland. This might actually play. Oh, Hugh Haycox! Another Rec 40 Haycox. That's number 4.
You know what? When you have two Haycoxes in the race and they both are crashing a lot, it seems like you get a lot of Haycox action there. Either it's you or Ian. This is not Ian here. Here's you. Boy, he almost caught it. He almost had that one caught.
I still have to remember myself that Hugh Haycox is now driving in that blue and grayish car and no longer in that pink car. I don't know, still looks weird to me. Either way, he's now racing in that one, no longer in his famous pink car, as David Gaspers is still leading the way after 15 laps concluded. That's about half away now done in this race. Just about 23 more minutes done, to go in this race. Daniel Sadger right now second place, about 9.9 seconds away from Gaspers. So pretty much in no man's land on the standing tower. 9 seconds to the guy in front, 5 seconds to the guy in the back. But yeah, he's also starting now to catch some traffic in the form of popcorn.
Leaders of all the cars who have pitted, we talked about it before, Elson and Ray. We see our hard charger, Gary Wolpold, coming in to make it a stop. And surprisingly taking tires.
Yeah, that must be a mistake, as Orsa, I saw that live on my screen, very much off track, and that was actually because he hit the curb through the S's and yeah, took a little bit off the wrong way. You can see him jumping a little bit through the gravel and the grass, coming back onto the shortcut on the outside, safely returning right in front of Edward Doherty all the way down in 11th place. Or
So,
is he?
We look at this battle. Elson about 40 seconds behind the leader, about 30 seconds behind Daniel Sadro. That'll be interesting to see how Elson and Ray sort out when Sadro decides to make his stop.
After a quick calculation, pit lane delta should be around 25 seconds here, with a pit lane time of 33 seconds. That's including a 10-second stop for fuel.
That should put him in the range of Adam Bradshaw then, who is racing in third. Again, great run from Bradshaw. Walker with a mistake.
Walker the second. That one is
right in front of David Sanchez. Does a good job if he has a view of this one. Walker clears out of the way.
That's right in the S's there. Spins it around. Doesn't hit anything and gets going again after that is, I think, Tino Shook and went past him.
Director, let's go and look at Gaspers here for a minute, because he's got a little work to do. We talked about lap traffic. Well, he's got Franco here to get around. Coming up now behind Jerry McAreevy. We would have figured that Gaspers and McAreevy would be lacing close together. We didn't think it'd be a matter of McAreevy being lapped.
That's just how racing sometimes plays for you. Gary McAreevy, one of the top players just 2 seasons ago, after having a little bit of an off-season last season, now finds himself 21st and already lapped starting from third place. Obviously, with his mishap very early in the race, he got taken out of this one by himself. Now lap 18, he is finding himself 1 lap down just behind David Gaspers.
You can see what he did there, though. He let Gaspers go around. But I think McAreevy's got a clean car. I think he's pretty competitive. He's going to be close to Gaspers' pace, but McAreevy, the sportsman that he is, didn't want to be out in front of Gaspers. Plus, get back behind him, maybe run a little faster laps, letting the Ghost lead you around.
Speaking about faster laps, Michael Shaw just overtook Ryan Walker for 18th place, as Tom Gradwell is pitting in alongside Wayne Pop.
Can we get a replay? Stevie Ray right now, director. Onboard camera with Stevie Ray. He almost got collected by Ian Malone, a lapped car. Take a look at this one. That's Malone up in front. You right on board with Ray. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Wow. Actually, did he get a net code there with Malone that looked quite close?
Take a look on top of this. And give Malone credit for keeping this car as far away from Ray as he could. Might have got a little net code. Why that's important is Elson and Ray. Elson's just ahead of Ray. They're in this. They're racing up front. They're just separated because they take that early stop.
Jeff Jacobson in the pit lane right now from 11th place. He is pitting. Probably will come out somewhere around 19th place. Number 40 car. Let's see, where is actually... No, Michael Shaw already at 16th place going past. So yeah, 16th place it seems like. Oh, Michael Shaw actually spins out in turn 1. No, keeps it together, but is in the grass there. Loses that position to Ryan Walker and Jeff Jacobson.
Let's go back up and look at the... Oh!
Ryan Walker just spun out of turn 3.
He is having a day, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Now, Gabe Nail just got, coming into pit lane, just got hammered from the guy behind him. It was Edward Doherty. Doherty didn't know he was coming in. Gave him a real shot. They were racing for 7th position. Watch this as they enter pit lane here.
That's a clear. Drive faster! Drive faster!
Yeah.
Dave Neal taking the fast repair because of that a little nudge there. Let's see where he is coming out. He's standing quite some time. 15 seconds that was. Quite a lot of fuel taken on board for Gabe Neal. Where is he coming out right now? 14th place. Michael Shaw is overtaking him. 15th. 16th place. That's actually David Gaspers already coming up behind him.
There they come out. And look at that car going by right behind Gaspers. This is a case of, what could have been. We talked about Jerry McAreevy. Look how he's hung right on the back of Gaspers. He's a lap down. First car 1 lap down because he had that early problems. Clearly had the pace to be competitive, but he's going to have to settle for, maybe lucky to see a top 10.
Now, the question is if Jerry McAreevy actually can finish this race with his very early pit stop right now. A lot of question mark in my head about that, so we have to keep an eye on that situation with him.
That's a real good point.
David Gaspers going into pit lane right now to take his mandatory pit stop. Most definitely he will come out ahead of Steven Elson. 40 seconds that gap was down to Steven Elson at the cross of the start-finish line.
Sadro stays out.
Rajo stays out. Murakami comes in from 4th place. Pepe Vasquez coming in from 6th. Let's see, Doherty from 7th also comes in. Lots of people now deciding that is their time to take fuel.
Let's look at David Sadler real quick because he's got some work to do. He's got a 3-car battle in front of him here. This is Sanchez, Kern and Warble. He gets around Warble. Now remember, Sadro needs to hot lap right now if he has any chance of getting up to Gaspers, which he probably doesn't. Now there's a battle here for 18th position. This is Sanchez and Kern. I'm not sure if Sadro's going to get there. Could be pit stop time for Daniel this time around. Oh my, he's got Kern, who looked like he was going to make a stop. That's one of the weird natures of the beach here at Road Atlanta. You try to get out of the way going into that final corner, which is fine unless the guy beside you needs to make a pit stop, because you're right on the pit entry line when you're trying to slow down, let the guy around.
Yeah, I wonder if Sadro wanted to come in there, because it looked like he did want to, and Bob Kern right there standing on the pit entrance line as Ramon Regalado in pit lane, pitting from 4th place. Probably will come out somewhere around Murakami. That is for 10th place right now. Sadro makes his way through the last chicane, or pretty much the only chicane on this track. Let's see
This time he'll be coming
in this time.
Yeah.
There we go.
So now we go ahead and pick up, who would it be? I guess it'd be Elson.
Yeah, I don't think he will be challenging Gaspers. That's a 16-second gap down to him. Elson 27, so that might actually be close. I think it's much more battle for Stevie Ray rather than Elson. Ray about 3 seconds behind Elson. Let's see, where is Sadro? Still in his pit box. Any moment now he will drive off. There he goes now, putting a nice 11 onto the max. Elson, where is he? Coming through turn 1 now. Stevie Ray also slotting in right between the two.
Maybe Elson, Sadro, and Ray can all team up, get together, and see if they can knock off the 13-second gap between them and the leader.
Oh boy. Not with a mistake like that. Stevie Ray loses his car through turn 3. I think that was once again the inside curb. No, it wasn't. Just too much speed for the league organizer.
But he does spin it out here onto this nice piece of concrete that kind of guides him right back onto the track. Just follow the road, Steve. There you go. Wouldn't it be nice if every off-track had like a paved re-entry lane for you?
Well, you're probably not racing enough on FIA Grade A tracks then.
There you go. Ray cycles out after that little loop-de-loop that he had, comes out in 5th position, just ahead of Adam Bradshaw. Man, Bradshaw is crushing it today.
As the last driver to pit makes his pit stop, Emil Orsa from 2nd place, starting in 17th. He takes a fast repair and guides his car out of the pit lane. And once again, let's actually see where he comes out. Probably once again, that will be close with Doherty and McAreevy for that 10th place there. Yes, indeed, he comes out just behind Edward Doherty. As someone just told...
Yeah, it was Pepe Martinez. Corner number 1. I'm telling you, the first corner has been a killer today. Again, went to the outside. He was coming up behind Raymond Regalado. Had to check up, went off on the grass, and Martinez is done.
I'm not even sure if he had to check up. I think that was just the case of too much pace into the turn and then hit the outside curb and spun himself around into the wall. I think he's the first one to actually hit that outside wall there. Either way, the battle for P8 still very much going on here. Now that is Emil Orsa. Actually, is this battle for P... No, it is for P8, never mind. Edward Doherty, Emil Orsa. Oh, McAreevy! Oh, saving it, and no he can't, and nearly spins out, does a 90-degree turn there. Julia Forcelin right behind him, spins it out completely right ahead of Gabe Neal, has to take avoiding actions onto the grass, and takes position away from Gary McAreevy.
No longer the leader of all the cars one lap down is McAreevy. Oh, with the pit stop from Gaspers, that did put McAreevy back on the lead
and
lap.
Tom Gradwell just had a spin out of turn 3. Now it's really kicking off here in this race. Lots of mistakes from the drivers.
Yeah, just missing the apex. Too much pace.
Now,
Does a good job of keeping it off the wall.
I have to be honest here. I didn't expect the drivers, to struggle this much with especially turn 1 and turn 3. Daniel Sadler nearly spins out of turn 3 now. Too much curb for him to retains his 3rd place though, because 4th place Stevie Ray spun himself a few laps ago.
So Elson, Sadro, and Ray all come out next to each other after the pit stop. Elson, the only driver to stay clean after the stop, now comfortably in 2nd. Sadro's mistake was not quite as bad as Ray's mistake.
McAreevy,
yeah,
as
you
expected.
called it, Seth. Yeah, pit stop was too early.
Should be a short one for McAreevy. Actually, it really wasn't 8 seconds. That puts him up to a total of nearly 15 seconds. Being stationary in the pit lane, so quite a lot of fuel. That was, as he comes out in, seems to be 21st place, right ahead of Ian Malone.
I want to quickly talk about the drivers. We look at this battle. We don't need to go there. I just want to talk about the drivers in 5th and 6th right now. It is
wow.
Brad. Yeah, look at that.
No, I just flicked through the field, and Tony Schuch with quite a tremendous save through turn 1.
Racing in 23rd position, a lap down, but again, corner number 1.
Look at this one.
Up, yep, there's the curbs.
What a save, though, by Tony Schuch. Knows what he has to do, didn't step a single time on the brake, and kept it all together.
The car just ahead of him was one of the cars I want to talk about. That is Bradshaw, Adam Bradshaw.
Oh, I'm sorry once again. David Gaspers with nearly a fatal wreck out of the last turn. What is going on?
Boy, he gets it out there in the alfalfa. It starts right in the middle of that final corner. He gets off the throttle, saves it, and then gets the car pointed straight. That gap now is about 7 seconds between him and Elson.
It's once again, I think that might be still his issue with his gear shifter, where it sometimes jumps out of gear. Oh, Mark Geehan just spun right ahead of Adam Bradshaw.
Right ahead of Bradshaw. Bradshaw does a good job of missing him. And again, I'm going to try to get this point in with Adam Bradshaw as we go to the replay here. He's racing car number 5. I do believe, though, he is an S2 driver, as is car number 88, right behind him of Raymond Regalado. I think is this. Oh, look at Bradshaw. Woo! Nice job from Adam. Having a great run in 5th, scoring some big S2 points.
What even is happening right now? Is Emil Orsa right now losing a position? No, that's actually Mark Geehan, that car driving around him.
Let's go to Adam Bradshaw. I'm just on an Adam Bradshaw fascination right now as he's about to lose the S2 lead. Here comes Regalado, assuming that both of these drivers are S2 drivers, even though they're racing 88s and 5s are the car numbers. There's the pass, moving up into 5th. Bradshaw coming back. Oh, this is a hard place to go side by side through here, boys. Get it sorted out.
And they do so in Verity Dramond Regalado only shortly in P5. But now, once again, Adam Bradshaw taking back his 5th place as Stevie Ray very damaged ahead of them.
Indeed, I think they're going to be able to run him down with just a tick under 5 minutes to go. I think that both these guys are going to gobble him up. This is where Ray cars is going to be really slow. It's going to have no straight line speed.
Yeah, just had a quick look back. Guess where it happened? Turn 3, backed it right into the wall. So, yeah.
We get the replay as we just saw Regalado make the pass on Bradshaw. Bradshaw coming back on him. Boy, they are dancing. They are dancing.
Now, Bradshaw and Ramon Regalado making quite the pretzel here. That's gonna be one tasty after they are finished.
Question is, can Stevie Ray stay ahead of these guys? My guess is no.
Doherty nearly with troubles out of turn 3 after catching the inside curve. It's really starting to kick off here, as Murakami now also getting close to the battle pack here for P4. Obviously, this is all far behind Daniel Sadro, Steve Elson, and David Gaspers.
Let's give it a little screen time, director, real quick. 10th position, a little love to these guys that are in a battle. This is Jacobson and Orza. We'll get a little love for them before this race is over. They're having a nice run. Jacobson up 4 spots, Orza up 6. They battled to get inside the top 10. Well, Jacobson battles to stay inside the top 10, while Orza would like to have that recognition. Coming out of the final corner here. Let's see if Orza makes this pass. He's got a good run right up behind him. Ducks to the inside. Corner 1 has been the Achilles heel for so many drivers today. Let's see if Orza can get a vote up. They go in there, and Emil knows how to do it. And there's the pass.
Now, I would have nearly said that was quite safe through turn 1. There's no risk whatsoever from both drivers, as Ramon Regalado hot on the heels of Adam Bradshaw for P5, right behind the stricken car of Stevie Ray. But still, Stevie Ray staying in 4th place. Very impressive that he can keep up with the pace right now as Ramon Regalado pushes Adam Bradshaw right there. I thought he's gonna go for the overtake. Oh, nice start over the bump.
I had a feeling, I think that Ramon said, I'm not going to be able to get this done before we get to chicane. It's going to slow both of us down. Let's put this pass on hold for a little bit.
Bradshaw.
Oh, while you go off in the grass, and then I'll make the pass. Look at Bradshaw. Stay on the throttle there.
Well, in this car, I think it's safer to stay on the throttle on the grass rather than go into the brake. With how we know this car behaves, Ramon Regalado drives around the turn 3 inside curb, and now is the first car to chase Stevie Ray, who is about only 2/10 slower than Regalado and Bradshaw.
Well, I think I'd not go on the brake either, but I don't know if I have the skill to go ahead and just keep my foot down like Bradshaw there. I'd have to lift a little bit. Great job from Bradshaw. Look at Ray, though. Man, it's down to it's under a second now. He might be able to hang on. He just might be able to hang on.
1 minute 18 remaining. That means 2 more laps for David Gaspers. He's already down at the bottom of the SS. So he's only 1.5 laps away from looking to be very secure first win of the season.
Adam Bradshaw needing to make a second stop. Must have underfilled. So what was going to be a great performance from him is going to be lucky now to finish on the lead lap.
Let's actually see David Gaspers coming through the Suzuki bridge right now to take the white flag of today's race. So 1 more lap for your leader as he now crosses the start-finish line to start his last lap. Only 28 seconds remaining, and indeed Adam Bradshaw goes 1 lap down.
When we get to the final race of the season and Bradshaw loses the S2 championship by a handful of points, keep this race in mind.
Ramon Regalado still not able to close in on Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray looking very secure right now with that 4th place. Also,
so.
only 1 more lap to go.
Yeah, I think If David Gaspers was just a little slower, maybe get one more lap out of this one, that Regalado might have had a shot at it.
David Gaspers, though, coming through the chicane for the last time in this race over the hill. Just one more time as Gary Walbot spins around, goes one lap down. Give it up for your winner of race 2 here in the Spec Race of Ford Weekend Warriors Championship. David Gaspers takes home a flag-to-flag victory.
Elson going to get second comfortably with Sadro in third. Ray is out of fuel, I believe. Or he's just surrendered the position because Regalado goes by him like he's standing still. I think Stevie Ray's going to have to use his Flintstone feet to get this car to the finish line. Here comes 6 and 7. This is a battle with Doherty and Murakami. Ray's car won't go. He's blocking the way. Doherty goes through the grass. Oh, no!
Oh, Ramon also!
Regalado's out of gas!
Comedy of errors, and Edward Doherty from 7th to 4th. Chris Murakami takes home 5th. Ramon Regalado 6th, and Stevie Ray 7th place.
They all got there.
Jacobson out of fuel. That means he's only gonna finish in 11th place as Neil takes away that one. Wow, this race once again.
Boy, look at how Neil just got there by that much.
Well, with that, we already have to go to a short break, but afterwards we're gonna come back with the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off a very eventful race. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. We welcome you back once again to the Spec Race of Ford post-race show streaming into your home on the iRacing eSports Network. And as we have seen very much in the past, once again David Gaspers doesn't fail to deliver. After 40 minutes and 36 seconds, he takes home a flag-to-flag victory, unchallenged from start to finish. 8.5 seconds ahead of Stephen Elson. Daniel Sadler takes home once again very strong 3rd place from 4th on the grid. But then your winner of the Spec 2 class, Edward Doherty, from 21st on the grid. He finishes inside the top 5. Chris Murakami, also very impressive, 11th to 5th place. And then once again, Ramon Regalado from 20th into 6th place. Stevie Ray, after running out of fuel on the last lap, he only finishes in 7th after running very strongly inside the top 5. Emil Orsa takes home 8th place, Michael Shaw 9th and Gabe Nail are rounding out your top 10 drivers here today.
The driver who ran out of fuel is Jeff Jacobson. He finishes 11th, last car on the lead lap. Tom Gradwell. Bob Kern was in the Baker's dozen spot. Now, Adam Bradshaw also ran out of fuel, but he was foolish enough to actually come in for a pit stop and get fuel. The rest of the guys stayed out there and just kind of limped it around. Bradshaw will have to settle for 14th. Nico Schuk in 15th spot. The last 4 or 5 cars here in the top 20, Gary Woolbolt, Larry McLeod, Ian Haycox, and Tony Schuk, who had in 19th. Last car in the top 20 is Ryan Walker. Steph?
Gary McCreevy, the first car, already 2 laps down in a very eventful race for him after early laps trouble. He only finishes in 21st, as we mentioned, from 3rd place on the grid. Mark Gehan gains 5 positions from 27th into 29th. 6 positions gained for Julia Forcelin from 29th into 23rd. Richard Frank, a little bit the wrong way for him. He started 19th, only finishes in 24th. Ian Malone, first car not to see the checkered flag in 25th. Alongside him, David Guerrero Sanchez 26th, Witness Strickland 27th, Pepe Vasquez Martinez 28th, Wade Palmer 29th, and very early he had to get out of this race. Hugh Haycox 22 laps down, all the way in 30th. But David Gaspers once again putting up quite the show for us here today. Flag to flag victory, pretty much unchallenged except for a short burst against, I think that actually was Gary McCreevy. How does that one feel to you, David?
Pretty good, but I think it was Steve Nelson.
Ah, yes.
And after all, I think the biggest challenge to my victory towards the end was myself putting in the wrong gear.
So it was actually yourself and not your shifter.
No, that was me. After that, I had to step on the clutch again. Car didn't like that, so I had to brake.
Well, at least you were able to save that and still glide home to a very secure first place. Now, we have seen quite a few people having troubles, especially with the inside, the apex curb of turn 3, also turn 1, the exit curb there. Did you have any problems here today with any of those curbs, or in general, any of the curbs?
Not really. If you take enough of the turn 3 curb, it doesn't really affect the car at all. It's just when you touch it with the right tire, but not really go over it, when the car gets loose.
Well, next up, we are going to Road America. Very different once again to Road Atlanta. Not really on the draft probabilities, because as we know, Road Atlanta can also be quite a draft track. But Road America really gonna shuffle up the grid and the cards for everyone. How are you looking ahead to that one?
I like the track. It's just, it's impossible to get away there. And it depends on the other drivers, what they're doing. I'm not planning to do any fuel saving. And it really depends if they attack or just stay behind and save fuel there.
Well, we are gonna be there for sure and gonna log on what you can do there. Once again, congrats on your first place and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Next up, Bill talking to Edward Doherty.
I thought we were going to get Stephen Nelson, but he stepped away from us. So let's go ahead and talk to what I think is our top S2 winner here today, 4th position. Edward, nice job. 21st to 4th. Way to go.
Yeah, it was a bit of... Oh, can you guys hear me?
We got you.
Okay, great, because in the past I've never been able to make the hookup. So, that was an exciting race. I pretty much screwed up. I think it was the first lap. I backed off and trying not to hit another car and basically screwed myself up. But it was a long fight back. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun at the end there with Chris. And really surprised to be seeing Ramon as we got past him on pretty much the second to last turn there. So I'm quite pleased with the result today. It makes a big change from my previous performances.
Regalado ran out of fuel. Ray ran out of fuel on the last lap. Jacobson was running out of fuel. Were you good to go?
Yeah, I took 1.5 gallons. So I guess I got lucky there. And I guess from past experience, I figured out, okay, so not near the front, I may not get too much draft, so I tend to take a little bit more. And so I got lucky there.
We race on road Atlanta a lot, but rarely on this configuration. As broadcasters, it's kind of fun to do something different. As drivers, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, well, there's a few tracks that I consider myself to be reasonably good at. I mean, not as good as the fast guys, but this is one of them. It just kind of suits my style of driving, and I enjoy the track, so it's on top of that, getting a result out of it's kind of icing on the cake.
Indeed, it was. Congratulations on winning your class. Good job. We'll see you down the road.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.
Edward Doherty up 17 spots into fourth. Steph?
Chris Murakami, the next one to talk to us in our interviews here. Now, Chris, bit of a quiet race for you here today. Still, 11th to 5th place, a very good result.
Yeah, I got lucky at the end. A couple of the guys ran out of gas, and I always have a pit problem, so I burn up too much time in the pits. I missed you guys two races ago, and I was waiting on Discord, but it was my first time, so I didn't know how to hit the buttons correct. But I got a third. That was awesome.
Yeah. This time, though, I would say this race was even more impressive because you kept the quality, you kept up your positions, you gained your positions, and +6 at the very end. Sadly, not the hard charger that I think goes to Edward Doherty from 21st to 4th. But either way, 5th place, you still gotta be there when you have to be there, and that is exactly what you did.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the 5th. Ed, I've been racing Ed all week, and he's been very fast. So I had a feeling he was going to catch me.
Next up, we're going to Road America once again. Very much different to Road Atlanta, except for the draft, just a little bit more. You can say, how are you looking forward to that one?
Ooh, for me, they're all kind of pretty tough. So, I like the track, and we'll just see how we do.
Well, Chris, once again, congrats on your 5th place here today, and we're looking forward to seeing you out there at Road America.
Yes, I'll be there next week. Thanks, guys.
That was Chris Murakami, a 5th place finisher here today. Next up, Gabe Nail talking to Bill.
One of the only drivers in the top 5 in the S2 Championship from the United States, the hailing out of Joe Paterno country. Gabe Nail, top 10 finish for you. It was messy out there. Any close calls?
Actually, yeah, there were a lot of them, like more than I would like to imagine, because I think I had one with Giulio out of turn 1. He spun and he went on track, and I was in a panic because I was just like, please don't spin out and try to going back on track, because I was hoping he would keep it in the grass, but he didn't. And I had to slow down really hard, and I got really nervous, but I kept it together. And I also had one with one of the lap cars I don't remember, and a lot of saves that I had to make of me getting nervous and messing up places like turn 1 and turn 3. I had a lot of accidents in practice, so I didn't expect the result that I got, but I think it's because of how careful I was. I'm not sure if you guys noticed earlier in the race, like in the early stages, I was actually letting the S1 class guys by because I was just like, I'm not gonna fight. I'm racing a different race. I'm racing a completely different race. I don't want the track position. I just want the class position. So I was just like, I'm not gonna take myself out for track position.
Yeah, now you started in 18th, and there was an incident on the very first lap in corner number 1. Were you able to avoid that one?
Oh yeah, just barely. I mean, the start was really messy as well. I had started off quite slowly because I got a little bit confused, and I think we might have been going slightly like 3 wide through turn 1.
Yeah.
I know we were 3 wide on the straight, and it was scaring the crap out of me. But I was just like, breathe, keep it together.
It was that front straight. It was a swarm of cars going into that first corner on lap 1.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Congratulations on the top 10 finish today. You started in 4th position in that S2 driver standings. I think you'll probably move up a little bit as Bradshaw ran out of gas there on the very end. So you finished ahead of the guy who was leading you. Good luck the rest of the week.
Yep. Also, I'd like to comment on that. On passing Jeff. That absolutely scared me. I didn't know he had ran out of fuel at all. I literally didn't. I thought he was just going slow, and then I heard his car putting. As soon as I passed him, I was just like, "Oh!" But like I thought he would have gone off the racing line, but he stayed there, and I'm just like, "Oh god, oh god, oh god!" And I made the pass, and I was just like, "Oh well, I got 10th out of it."
Yeah, you got him by 4/100ths of a second, but that really doesn't tell the whole story because that's 4/100ths of a second with Jacobson basically parked on the track, so it was really close.
Yeah, really. It was. I was staying behind him most of the race. I was just kind of working with him. But yeah.
Well done. Congratulations on the top 10 finish. We'll see you down the road.
Yeah, thank you.
Gabe Nail. All right, Steph, let's bring it home.
Yeah, and GSRC would like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially Stevie Ray for organizing this league and contracting with the GSRC to broadcast it. Also, a special thanks goes out to iRacing for allowing us to showcase you the Weekend Warriors on the iRacing eSports Network. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Right now on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software. GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides us with her great masterpiece. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at the globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRC channel, GSR channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, or on Instagram at GSRC_gram. All of the upcoming races for other series are right now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Amchad, Bill, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in as Davey Gaspers took away the victory here at Road Atlanta. With that said, until next time, servus and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.